aspects for the political transition. Firstly, it is a peaceful transition of Chinese political leadership, which is important for a country with a huge size and uneven development levels. Secondly, there is a readjustment of the standing committee size of the political bureau from 9 to 7 members. I think this is a right choice to improve the decision-making efficiency and collective action capacity. If you consider the future huge reform agendas, efficiency is necessary. And thirdly, it is a complete transition in terms of leaderships of both party and military system, which might be institutionalized in the near future. So the new leadership will hold the full power to implement its political route, which helps to minimize the political uncertainties. And fourthly, China makes it clear that it will follow the way of socialism with Chinese characters, which is different from the traditional Soviet Union model, but also different from the Western democracy. At the same time, the CPC's 18th Congress report says that China will continue to promote its political regime reform to address its corruption challenges and development models. So to build an ecological civilization also added to the CPC's chapter, which will display a new dimension for China's future development goals, pay more attention to the environmental issues. As for the implications of the 18th CPC Congress on China's foreign policy, I think if you enter a new phase, there will be much continuities regarding its fundamental goal, open policy main principles, and the overall arrangement. However, the Chinese diplomacy will become more active and assume more roles as a major power. Firstly, it will enhance its existence over developing countries and the multilateral diplomacy, besides its relationship with major powers and periphery nations. Secondly, Chinese diplomacy will pay more attention to the non-traditional national interests in the area of ocean, overseas interests, cyberspace, space, etc. Thirdly, the Chinese diplomacy will become more pragmatic in terms of safeguarding its increasing legal overseas interests and ocean interests, building a more strong ocean power and promoting the international system and order more fair and equitable. So facing the unilateral actions by some neighboring countries to challenge the status quo or dispute islands, China adopted measures to maintain its sovereignty, mainly via non-military forces. At the same time, China also made it clear that PLA will take action if the diplomacy is hard. The resistance of Chinese consumers to buy goods from relevant countries has created some influence over their economies. China is also enhancing its administrative capacity regarding disputed islands. These responses do not mean that China will abandon a multilateral solution. China is working with ASEAN countries to implement the declaration of conduct of parties in the South China Sea and preparing conditions for making future rules. Generally, China values the stability and freedom of navigation and safety in South China Sea to address the concern of external regional actors. And just as Premier Wen Jiabao mentioned recently, China hopes the more players will use the South China Sea as a trade passage. The Diaoyu Island crisis has brought Sino-Japan relationship into a low point, though both countries are main economic partners. China wants to maintain the status quo, namely Diaoyu Island is a dispute island. While the Japanese government don't agree with this, both sides will continually to adopt non-military measures to show their actual control over the island in the near future. The engagement level will be limited to a lower diplomatic one. However, the declaration of starting trilateral FTA negotiations among China, South Korea, and Japan shows that tensions over Diaoyu Islands will not prevent China and Japan from cooperating on other important issues. As to the responsibility to protect and the responsibility to well-protecting, I think China holds its principle of non-influence of others' domestic issues and making judgments according to the affairs itself. However, China will not abandon this principle in the near future. China does support some cases in terms of responsibility to protect, especially the Libya case in 2011. China doesn't oppose responsibility to protect as a principle, but how to implement the responsibility to protect properly and completely is a difficult task. China argues that the responsibility to protect should be guided and dominated by the UN Security Council system rather than others. So China supports Brazil's proposal of the responsibility while protecting as a fraction of the negative side during the implementation of the responsibility to protect. As to BRICS attitude, I think BRICS does have a say regarding the responsibility to protect, since it has two UN Security Council permanent members and three important contributors to UN peacekeeping and peacemaking operations. BRICS countries also could propose new initiatives to resolve the international security issues peacefully and constructively. They have given some influences to the cases of Libya and Syria, when all of them serves as the UN Security Council members in 2011. When I talk about the political dimensions of BRICS, I mean that all members are not only emerging economies but also emerging powers as key geopolitical players. The political dimension of the grouping has many contents such as their influences over climate change, international development, international security, world trade, openness, and new development models, etc. So all BRICS countries are looking for a more fair and equitable international order, which will help to give a larger say for developing world and also accommodate the rights of others, such as BRICS. There are many opportunities for BRICS countries to cooperate with each other on many international fronts, such as international development, etc. The proposal of BRICS Development Bank is a good initiative, not only for BRICS countries themselves, but also for African countries' development. So at the same time, there are many difficulties, such as divergent political system, different development levels, huge domestic challenges, and economic reliance on development countries. So considering these difficulties, they will limit BRICS countries' available resources and political will to achieve effective cooperation. But it takes time, to build a more strong collective action for the BRICS countries regarding the international security issues and others. Yes, as like-minded peers, BRICS members are main promoters of international political and economic order reforms. There are many coordinating activities regarding their policy towards international security challenges and 2008 international financial crisis and euro debt. So the BRICS countries' declaration has shown that both Russia and China support India, Brazil, and South Africa to play a larger role in the UN system, though it is not an obvious support for their aspirations to be permanent members of the Security Council. However, this is a progress to show their support, their political will of the larger role for the BRICS members in international security affairs. Regarding to the economic issues and financial issues, I think all of the BRICS countries have contributed a lot to the IMF, helping it improve its capacity and achieve the visible reform of its voting sharing system. So there are a lot of visible achievements has been obtained. But there are also main obstacles regarding their future cooperation, such as lack of strategic trust and lack of concrete planning for the future reform agenda. So, to make the future, we need more contributions from the think tanks of these countries to get together to think about the more detailed and concrete agenda for the future world. Thank you very much.